A complete packet, but the key drawing is the next to the last page, where you will see the sight line from the person standing across the street at the facade to show that we've performed the calculations that extends the third story only so far forward, but not any further, so it wouldn't be able to be seen from the street across, the sidewalk across the street. And that is what allows our structural engineer to calculate the weight of the size of that enclosure and add it to what the cement would need to bear on the soil underneath. While this may seem theoretical, we hope that the Historical Review Board will accept that this design, which needs no variances, will be acceptable for the historic preservation, and that within 2 years or a period renewed thereafter, we might be able to undertake the project.
You said in 2 years?
The Historic Review Board's decision on whether this design will be acceptable at the conceptual level has a shelf life.
Okay.
And my partner and I would love to be able to save to be able to do this project, but our priority is to finish the basement.
Oh, so this is kind of like a maybe project, or is?
We have to have some understanding of what will be permissible in this zoned area for a third story in order to properly underpin the walls. And if we pursue the third story, we will need to have a full set of building permit drawings at that time. I want to acknowledge that we've received good counsel from our ANC rep on the procedures, and we've appreciated the guidance from the Historic Review Board staff, as well as the zoning committee that hosted us in a meeting just before the holidays.
So the Zoning and Plan Committee did recommend that the full commission support this application. Vote was 6-0-0. This is located in my single-member district, as the applicant has indicated. The Civic Association is also in support of the application, so I'll move that Advisory Neighborhood Commission 6E support the zoning application for 925 French Street Northwest, and we communicate that support to the Historic Preservation Review Board.
Second?
Second.
Frank, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thank you
for
very much.
coming.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so next we have Michael and the quarterly financial report.
All right, so the quarterly report, I want to send this off tomorrow to the ANC. So, yeah,
What do you
it's
mean?
a quarterly report for FY19 quarter 4. I'm just going to send a quarterly report,
Okay.
bank statements, and the receipt for expenses for quarter 4 to the ANC tomorrow.
Okay.
Have it here, just need another signature and.
Is everything okay?
Everything's fine. It reconciles in the spreadsheet.
Okay.
However, there's like a $28 difference between the bank statements and what's on our spreadsheet.
So last month when we were in our little mini meeting, there was a $200 spread.
It wasn't $200.
So this is now,
It was, yeah. It wasn't $200. I just couldn't remember what it was.
so what is, so let's help us out. So what is it?
Is it $28?
Yeah, I can show you the spreadsheet. Yeah, it's a $28 spreadsheet between the October 15th balance and the October 15th balance in our spreadsheet.
So,
Have you talked to Gottlieb at all?
Yeah, we just got to send quarter 4, but I haven't. That's the only thing I told him, that we just need to send quarter 4.
Oh, okay. But did he look at all about it with any of the discrepancies or have any?
Well, he needs
any advice on that?
He can't say anything until I give him we send it to him.
so is this a deficit, the $28, or what is the $28?
There's $28 more in this spreadsheet.
Okay.
So there's $28 fewer than there should be in
So,
the account?
let me
Is
just-
that what you're saying?
So I'm saying that the $20 in the spreadsheet, we look at the spreadsheet for expenses and reimbursements. There's $20 more in the spreadsheet than in the balance of the bank statements.
So somewhere there's an expenditure that isn't being reflected in the spreadsheet.
We don't have any expenses for $28 either.
Yeah.
We don't have anything that low.
No, nothing that low.
I mean, other
So
bank service
Michael, will he
charges
accept
or?
it with the discrepancy, or
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have to figure
We
out
can,
who's
yeah,
going
we
with
can
it.
still send we still need to send a quarterly report.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tell them like there's a discrepancy here.
Can you work with Alex to figure that out?
I
Yeah.
You
can,
guys work together and?
but I do wanna send it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. We need to
Okay,
clarify.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's correct. Okay. All right.
And that's the only outstanding report?
That's it, Q4, that's it.
Are you passing it around for us to look at?
Yeah, I'll send it to you in just a second.
So, let's see.
I looked at it before we started. It's gonna be a reconciliation somewhere. The form was $20 number.
Was it?
$20 would be like, if somebody was like, I think there was a real low amount a couple of years ago. With, well, maybe not a couple of years ago, but I remember David Jaffe got printed stuff. It'd be like 20, it's, I don't
Might be rolling
know.
over from a previous time.
Yeah. It always could be a decimal in the wrong place too, because those, that Excel sheet's pretty,
Okay, so while we're looking at that, Michael, why don't we go on to the next one where it says about the security fund?
yeah, this is, we do this every year, we gotta take the vote and allocate $25 to join the ANC Security Fund. So, I'll make a motion that ANC 60 join, the ANC Security Fund and approve $25 expenditure to contribute to the fund.
Second.
Okay, Frank, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Just ask what that is.
So every ANC has the opportunity to join this security fund. It's $25 a year. We have the option of pursuing our own securitization, but this is obviously the easiest thing. So every year we fill out some forms. We have our local bank, which is the one I use in the Safeway. It's like, because we have to use Wells Fargo. And so we fill that out, we send in a $25 check, and we don't hear from them again.
What's it?
I think it secures,
No, no,
it
so
secures, you
I
know,
mean, are
it's-
there grants that could be made
No,
from
it's,
this?
well, I mean, I don't think the security fund, we have a $50,000, like, right now we have, I don't wanna say a budget, we have $45,000 in our account. And joining the
For the
security,
whole ANC?
for just our ANC,
ANC 6.
yeah, 6E.
6E.
Yeah, we have way too much money. There's like ANCs in this city that have, you know, they're living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
But because of the way things were in 2010 and the way everybody kind of got broken up and joined together after the census, we ended up with like $50,000.
So, it's one thing, and I'm just starting to come to these meetings. so
Sure.
I apologize. But I was involved in, I think it's ANC 3 up in Chevy Chase. And they had a number of people would come with grant requests for neighborhood projects. And that was something that was regularly done. So I don't know if people are aware that there's money, and you said there's way too much money.
We have done a very poor job of advertising that, so.
Well, it's not only that, it's been difficult to get it across the ANC's desk. I mean, we've had success getting a few grants approved, but we've had others that get shot down because there's so many rules. It has to be in your ANC, they can't be receiving money from the district, anybody else. It's gotta be something that helps a great population, not just the
Right.
small, like we tried to give a grant to New Endeavors for Women, and it got,
Computers got shut
yeah,
down.
and they're like, well, no, 'cause it's only gonna help a small, so.
It would be nice if the rules were, you know, maybe on that next floor, no idea.
I think they're published on our website.
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to bring up, and you might be bringing that up right now. I apologize, don't usually go to the website, but I did tonight. And I copied all the address information, and I saw that there's a special meeting about the alley at M Street, closing it.
Oh, that was last year.
That is last.
That was last year. That was 2 years ago now.
It's right on the website.
Is it, what did it say, 2020 on there?
No, I don't
Oh.
know, but the meeting was in April 2018.
Yeah, that was a long time ago now.
But that's right on the front of the
Okay.
website. It says special meeting, and maybe I missed the date, but it's right on the Facebook.
Just play up.
So that really upset me.
Oh,
And we still have.
it's not
we-
happening.
We still have problems. I mean, was talking to Rosemary, who's our neighbor upstairs, you know, they put this tiny little speed bump.
Yep.
They didn't consult anybody, and there should be big speed bumps. that
So let's
everybody-
table that for another
Yeah.
time, next month,
So-
okay, so let's move on, so we have, did we vote on that, Karen?
Yes.
Okay.
We did that.
All right, so let's talk about the budget then,
We want to do the
Alex.
budget or treasurer's report?
we might as well talk about the budget.
All right. Again, every year we have like an ANC budget. We didn't have I remember, you know, I don't know when it was, a group of us got together and put together a budget, I think 2 years ago, and we've kind of been renewing the exact same one. We always have a budget for about $15,000 a year and never come close to it. But there are 9 categories we can allocate funds to. Personnel, direct office costs, communications, office supplies and equipment, and printing, grants, local transportation, purchase of service, bank charges, transfers and petty cash, and then a other miscellaneous account. Our only real set costs are Karen Yala's services every month and our mailbox. But other than that, everything is kind of ad hoc. So what I would propose is I'm gonna I think we should probably up some of these numbers. And
What does that mean, up?
I think like right now for communication it was 2,000. I think that was before we gave Miss Yala a raise. So she's paid $250 a month for minutes and website maintenance. That's gonna be 3,000 for a full year. Office supplies and equipment. We didn't have any. We have no money for personnel and no direct office costs. So both of those are zero. The next is office supplies equipment. We had $5,500 allocated. I don't know why. That seems super high. Why don't we drop that to 1,000? Now keep in mind, this is all, you know, make believe.
You know why that was? Because when years ago when we printed out the newsletter, it was a substantial
Oh,
amount of
that's
money.
right. That's
why.
right.
That was
Okay.
thousands of copies every month.
So
That doesn't
should we
exist
allocate
anymore.
any money just in case we have to do a printing job?
A printing job?
I don't know.
2020?
Well, it's like last year, we had a special election, we had to pay for the
That's right,
mail
yeah.
cards to advertise for the special
We'd
election.
make it 2,000.
All right, let's make it 2,000.
Is there a senior building in your district? In your senior building in your district? Well,
Absolutely.
then you need to print. Because all seniors don't have access to social media. So you need to print.
That's a good point.
So what I'm gonna do for Aria, and you're my constituent, is we're gonna go all, I do distribute for the Paradise Gardens and for the co-op, but I'm gonna be advertising an email listserv. A lot of the constituents have smartphones or email addresses.
I understand that, but I'm talking about him, his district has a senior building. And I know those seniors in that building do not all have email.
They
And if
have,
they do-
they have a computer lab, but very few of them use email.
Right. And then those who do don't know how to access. It's
So-
one of their grandkids set it up for them.
So Aaron,
So,
here's the deal,
yeah.
so I have printed stuff in the past, I have to come before the commission, and go, here's $20 of receipts, right? So any commissioner, Alex or Frank, can elect to do that, but it's not, no one tells anyone to do it, so it's their choice, so.
Yeah, and sometimes, to be honest with you, I'll just run them off, you know, at the office and drop them off, so.
It's suggested, it's great that I do that, but I'm moving towards all electronic too.
Great. I don't have a problem with electronics, as you know,
I know,
but not
Does anybody want me to up the money?
everybody.
okay.
You want to keep it at 2,000? We
Keep
can up it.
2,000,
All
that's
right.
fine.
Grants. I think our maximum donation or maximum grant is 3,000. We had it set at 12,000 in the event we could find to give away and actually get through the ANC's process. Do you guys want to keep it at 12,000?
Sure, it's fine,
All right,
Fine.
keep it at 12.
just in case.
Local transportation, we had 0, which I'm fine with keeping 0. Purchase of services, we had this at 3,875. I think that probably that might have factored into our website construction and the portal and everything else. I think we should probably just round this out to 5,000. I don't think we'll get to that, but in the event we have legal services we need or more website construction, all right, we'll keep it at 5,000.
Well, the legal service that we had last time were much more than $5,000. It was like $5,600.
Oh, okay, that's true. All right, well, you want up to 10?
I mean,
Yeah, if you don't spend it, then.
Yeah, I mean, nobody says we have to spend it. Bank charges, transfers, and petty cash, we have $325. All right. And finally, other, we had $2,025 in that, budget for that. You wanna make that just 2,000 and call it a day?
That's fine.
All right, so 2020 budget amounts to $17,325, which is probably $10,000 more than they'll actually spend,
If that.
if that. Okay, good.
So I think the point is that we do have, money for grants, and so I think, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, to advertise that more out to the
Let me,
community, and so
yeah,
that
I
money
just need it
can be
back.
spent down.
But if you scan it, yeah, just scan it back to
I
me.
have a question
I'll
about the
put it,
grants.
make it a little more
Is it on
formal.
the website, you know, since it's so complicated, that, you know, we
Is it
can read
Karen
it
on
and figure out, you know, maybe people can look for something that it could work for.
Sure,
You
sure, I
don't
think
know.
in our, yeah, we have the application has the rules, each one, it's a little onerous. But yeah, I mean, we're happy to, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm happy to sign on to any grant
Yeah, I know, just
possible.
right, yeah,
Yep.
you
Just-
have to kind of come.
Yeah, I'll vote in favor of
There's a
anything.
whole lot of things that need to be
Okay, so
done
let's-
in the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
the problem, Lydia, is that, you know, while we have approved a number of grants, the Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commission has not deemed to approve them. And as a result, we've had to go back to, the grant applicants and say, sorry, can't give it to you. So, that's why we haven't been able to make much progress in
But
getting
are
it
they,
right.
once we read the, you know, all of what we need to do, if we follow, you know, you might, it's gonna be onerous to do it, but if you know what
So
you
the,
have to
the
do.
problem is that for a relatively small amount of money, we're asking for a lot of hoops to jump through. And, you know, most nonprofits, you know, especially since we don't allow for administrative costs over the grants, it's just not, you know, a value proposition that makes sense for most nonprofits. And then when you add the additional, you know, issue that, you know, the Office of ANCs, you know, is finding every excuse not to approve the grants.
See, what's the advantage though, if you got the money just sitting here now?
Well,
I agree with you.
they've explained to me that we're not a grant-giving body. We have money for operational costs, but our job isn't to give grants.
So they won't mind you spending money on other things, but not on grants, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could
I mean,
make,
we could probably hire a bunch of.
we could make Karen full-time,
Yeah.
actually. I mean,
I'm sure Karen would be thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm really confused about this. Where does that money come from? How does it get there?
Your tax
Your
dollars.
tax dollars.
Okay, do we get 50,000 every year?
No, we get 3,000 every quarter. 3,300
So
something.
it's not that much that's there, but, I mean, people should know, and I've been in nonprofits for 20 years. Writing grants are difficult, and if it's people in the community that are doing it, a lot of times they don't know all the rules.
Yeah.
So, you know, on the front end, if somebody's interested, I'd be happy to help somebody write a grant. But it's very difficult for people, if they're lay people, to write a grant and not, you know, punch all the buttons.
Well, I think one of the problems too is if they're getting money from the district,
I
another
understand,
source,
but that's
so
one
then
of
it's
the
just
buttons
like,
that has to.
they're not gonna give up their $10,000 from the district to get our 3,000.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
understand,
yeah.
but, you know.
Can you give to the school if they have,
You definitely cannot give it to us.
try.
You could potentially give it to a PTA or
Yeah, can you give it
PTO
to PTA?
Oh, I thought we did.
if
Yeah,
what
I'm
is
sorry.
being,
Never mind.
if what the funds are being spent for is not duplicated by funding by the district government.
They don't get it.
I wanna make a motion to approve the agenda, or not the agenda, the budget.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
I mean,
Okay, let's move on. Anyone, any further questions about the quarterly report?
So I don't see that the numbers on the report match the numbers on the statements. So if you can walk me through why they don't match up.
No, so okay, so.
So you've got over here, funds available during the quarter at 48,552. So the July statement, where's the July statement? So the July statement says the beginning balance is 48,602.70. So should that be the number that appears here?
So it's more like this. Well, look at the October one. Look at the September one. This is what it is. So see the balance here at where's that?
Well, this is the
Oh, the 920,
the ending
right?
balance.
41.4. Okay.
Right.
So it's more when you go now look at the spreadsheet. Now granted, this is a balance of September 6th, so that, see the discrepancy here?
Yeah,
So Michaela, why don't you come up and do, while they're
so
discussing this,
that's-
why don't you do your report?
that's-
So you've got 41,397 there, but at the end of the
Is there an
month,
excellent-
you've got, 41,448.
Yeah.
So that's more
Michaela
than
from the
20
mayor's
bucks.
office?
Good evening, my name is
$50.
Michaela Farrell. I am one
No,
of
so-
Mayor Bowser's Ward 6 liaisons in the Office of Community
So
Relations and Services.
No, it's not.
I have a few announcements and events that pertain to you all. The encampment at New Jersey and O Street Park. Thank you, Commissioner, for flagging that for us. We've worked with DMHHS, which is the Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services office on an encampment cleanup, which will take place next Tuesday around 10 a.m. That should be the 14th. Yeah.
So,
We
but
are
why is that
slowly but steadily
so different
making
from
some improvements to
that?
the
So
Kennedy
that's
Rec
the
Center,
$30
including getting a door
Okay, so
fixed
that's the
to the
$30
entrance.
there, but then why does
And
that
a
not
gate
match
closed, we have a
41
few
that was
outstanding
checked at the end of the month?
items, and we've been working closely
This is
with
the end of the
DGS
quarter.
on getting an update on when those
And
items
balance
will
is
be
checked.
fixed and completed.
So this needs to match
A
this,
few
or
events
this
coming
be
up.
close to it. It's
DDOT will be
$50.
hosting their S Street Revitalization Project public meeting. So the revitalization project will take place on S Street from 7th to Florida Avenue. The public meeting is tomorrow from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the DC Housing Finance Authority offices at 815 Florida Avenue. And that revitalization
So
project
when you
includes
get down to it,
ADA
this number
compliance,
needs to match
sidewalk
this.
reconstruction, traffic calming measures,
And
and
it's
upgrades
20 bucks
to
off,
traffic
and then
signals
that's
and
all it is.
streetlights.
Well, this is $50.
Two other events. The mayor will be hosting a New Year, New Housing event, where you will be able to learn more about our goals for 36,000 units by 2025 and what efforts we're making in 2020 to reach that goal. We're also inviting you to, that event is January 17th at 10 a.m. also at the DC Housing Finance Authority at 815 Florida Avenue. And the last event, I want to invite you all to join us, meeting Mayor Bowser, at the MLK Day Parade, on Monday, January 20th at 11 a.m. The starting point is MLK Junior Ave and Good Hope Road in Southeast. We'll meet at 11 to walk the parade. Do you guys have any questions
So,
for me?
let me ask you a question. So what about the gentleman who has the tent on 4th Street?
Yeah.
Were the plats pulled or what's going on?
So I have to follow up with DMHHS on that, and I can follow.
You're gonna need to follow up with probably DCRA.
Right, and they coordinate with them. DMHHS coordinates with
So if you need
DCRA.
the owner of that lot, because I'm almost fairly certain he's really on his lot, even though he claims that he's not, to talk to the owner. So I have his contact number, because this has been going on too long, so.
Yeah. I'll follow up with the DMHHS to see if they've made any progress with DCRA to figure out, determine who, if it's private or public space.
Okay.
Michaela, I don't want to put you in a hot seat on this one, but do you know if there's any progress whatsoever at 1727 7th Street. That property burned out over a year ago. They got these big blue tarps hanging over the building. And I will let you know, there are people that were squeezing through the back fence doing drugs in the back behind that property. They're starting to have a rat problem behind that property. It's just a complete eyesore. The mayor saw it. I think the whole entourage saw it. And there's been no change in a year and a half. That the blue tarp makes it look worse. But it's just, I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but it's a complete eyesore for the neighborhood. I'm just trying to see if DCRA can do anything to try to help remedy the situation.
Right, and so after the walk that Mayor Bowser had in October, DCRA went out to inspect. I can send you the results of that inspection. I can't remember off the top of my head, but DCRA did go back out to inspect and make sure that it's properly secured. And if there are individuals, are you all making reports to police, individuals doing
People are,
activity?
I've seen with my own eyes,
Okay.
people are, the fence opens up about at least a foot, so
Okay.
people are sliding through at nighttime.
Okay.
They're doing drugs behind the building at nighttime, and it's just a mess.
And then rodent activity,
Yeah.
I'm happy to reach out to DOH to get rodent, the rodent control team out there to treat
I would
any
greatly
burrows.
appreciate it, because it's been going on for almost 2 years now.
Thank you.
So I would appreciate, knowing, what DCRA determined, because basically it's a facade at this point. And we've had facades like that fall into the street and, just barely missing killing people. So
Yeah, I'm
something
happy
has
to
to happen.
send both of you the report,
That'd be
their inspection report.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
Yes, actually, so you mentioned the walkthrough with the mayor a couple of months back, and you prepared a rather extensive list of items for follow-up. Have you been able to make progress from that list?
We have, and that list that Commissioner Padro is referencing is on the MOCRS website, which is MOCRS, MOCRS, .dc.gov. And I can share again with you that updated list where we're at with some of those items. There are a few long-term items, sidewalks near Banneker that DDOT is working with DCTS and DGS that will be a part of the Banneker High project. But there are other shorter term items that we have worked on or are in the process of working on and getting folks connected to the right people.
Questions from the audience? Okay, Aaron.
So you said on the 14th would be the cleanup for the tents?
Yes.
So is it gonna be criminalized? Because right now people are upset because you all in the mayor's office posted up underneath the walkway in Manova, a criminalized sign for the homeless, that if they have tents up, that it's possibility that they could go to jail. Starting on the 16th, you all are going in there and clean up the homeless and throw away their stuff.
That's different.
So
So
what's
the-
going on?
The cleanup,
Because I'm not happy.
okay, so the cleanup that is taking place at New Jersey and O Street Park, that is a standard cleanup. We've given 14 days notice to the individuals at that park. It's more to clean up any trash or any items that have been left behind. The K Street underpass in Noma, that is due to a law that requires a 10-foot passageway for a pedestrian walkway. Unfortunately, in the encampments on the sidewalk on K Street is exactly 10 feet. And so for folks who are encamped on K Street, it's an issue of safe passage for pedestrians or folks who are on bikes. So that is
But
why.
Keep going.
To understand your point, Aaron, what's the point?
My point is, I think the way we're going about dealing with the homeless, we're going in the wrong direction. And we need to really do an on-site assessment of these individuals. I mean, because the ones that are in my area, to be honest with you, I don't have a problem with them. They keep my crime down. When they ain't there, my crime goes up. People's cars get broken in, the whole 9 yards. What I want to see is us doing an assessment, on-site assessment, and determine what these people really need.
So
And
that-
I mean really need.
So that happens. If you ask DMHHS, DHS, DBH, Department of Behavioral Health. Many of these individuals are known to the system, and that outreach is taking place. You might not see it, but it takes place. And that assessment, initial needs assessment does take place and what their housing needs are. So I'm more than happy to meet with you one-on-one to discuss what the district is doing to help end homelessness, if that's something that you're interested in.
Anyone else?
Thank you, first of all, for your work in the fabric of community democracy and community engagement in our city. It's not easy work, and thank you for being here. And thank you for coming to see our neighborhood association. You just said that next week we would have the opportunity to learn about the mayor's vision for 36,000 additional units, and because this is the 6E neighborhood meeting, is there any indication of what fraction of that is destined for our area? Is there a micro view on that big number?
So I would recommend, do you all know about the comprehensive plan that the Office of Planning undertook? It's the comprehensive plan is vision for the city that gets updated every so often. And this current iteration, the ANCs have you all submitted your comments to? No, not, okay. Well, it takes a look at neighborhood by neighborhood on additional housing units that can be, how we can use the space that we have to increase housing throughout the district. I'm happy to send you a link in the website to learn more about the comprehensive plan, and that would help you see what the future of 6E looks like with additional housing.
From listening to you just now, it sounds like our commissioners have an opportunity currently to weigh in on that plan,
Mm-hmm.
and that as community members, we need to be weighing in with our commissioners
Yes.
to weigh into that plan.
Yes,
And what's the time frame for our commissioners to express?
I would have to, yeah, it's coming, it's soon.
He actually extended it once already.
Yeah, they've extended it. I would have to, I don't have it on.
So the comments are due in February.
Before the next meeting of our ANC?
No, after.